הדובר הבא הוא ג'ף דאובה, ידידנו, שמייצג פה את הר הזיתים. ג'ף, בבקשה.
Our next, thank you, Rachel Silvetsky, for your very special words. Our next speaker is Jeff Daube, International Committee for Har HaZeitim. Dear friend, b'vakasha.
Hi, everybody. It's great to see you all, and thank you, Yasher Koach, to Yehudit, to Nadia, to Renee, to everybody, all the organizers here. I hope we don't have to do this too often. I hope they'll get the message over there in Washington and elsewhere that there is room for only one embassy in one Jerusalem. What I would like to do, with your permission, is I'd like to just relate two personal anecdotes that I've had. In a previous life, I used to have countless meetings in that building over there, and I came to understand for all of us who believe in Ribonut, for all of us who believe in sovereignty, for all of the state of Israel, especially here in Yerushalayim, exactly how malign and how toxic their activities were over there for our efforts. So let me just share these two quick anecdotes with you. First of all, I'm glad to see everybody, but if we do need another vigil here, I hope our numbers will swell, and I'll tell you why. Because everything that happens here makes it over to the State Department. They report on everything. They are head counting as we speak now, and they will let them know over there exactly how many people were here. How do I know that? My first meeting in that building back in 2008, I sat down with some of the officials there, and I said, let me introduce myself. So they said, no need. We know all about you, Mr. Daube. So they have their eye on us, and hopefully we'll be able to bring out by orders of magnitude many, many more people should we have to meet next week and the week after. So a few years ago, I met in that building, and I briefed them, I reported to them on a lot of the rock throwing, the fire bombing, the vandalism that was occurring on Har HaZeitim, on the Mount of Olives. I sat down, gave them all the statistics, everything, and I had one simple request. Please, put this into the State Department's annual report on international religious freedom. And lo and behold, Nisim v'Niflaot, the following report, they had the citation in there. But what did they do? They consulted with their Palestinian cohorts, and right after that citation, what they did was they put in, just a few meters from us over here, is the Muslim Mamila Cemetery. They put in that the Jerusalem municipality had also removed headstones from the cemetery over there. When I saw that, I blew a gasket. Why? Because indeed the Jerusalem municipality and the Rashut HaAtikot, the Antiquities Authority, did remove headstones from that cemetery just a few meters from us. Because those were fake headstones that were put into that cemetery by the infamous Sheikh Ra'id Salah from the Northern Islamic Movement, and all they did was they brought in their experts and their engineers to remove just those faux, just those fake headstones. When I went to the State Department with all of the documentation, again, another miracle, they left the Har HaZeitim material in, but they took out the Mamila Muslim Cemetery material. So sometimes things actually do work out. That's why it's so important for all of you to be here. Second anecdote. A number of years ago, I made friends with a senator who's a very, very good friend of Israel and also very, very much aligned with our point of view of things. His name is Senator Sam Brownback. I was contacted a little while later, and I was told that Senator Brownback was coming over here to Israel. Could I arrange here in Jerusalem for a visit to a biblical site? I said, sure. Would Senator Brownback, who's Christian, would he like to see a Jewish site? Or would he like to see a Christian site? So they said, under no circumstances should he see a Christian site. He definitely wants to see a Jewish biblical site. So what I did was I contacted David Be'eri from Ir David, from the city of David, and I asked him if he would be available to give the senator a tour, a briefing of Ir David. Davidullah was only too happy to give the senator a tour. What was interesting about that experience was that we had made up to meet near Ir David on Ma'alei HaShalom, right next to Shahar Ashbot, the Dung Gate. And sure enough, at the appointed time, Senator Brownback pulls in a black Toyota SUV. There are two other black Toyota SUVs sitting there from the Jerusalem consulate. Senator Brownback got out, joined us, but what occurred later on shocked me. The Jerusalem consulate officials got into a big fight with the embassy officials. They said, how dare you bring a sitting senator here to Jerusalem within our consular district and bring him to occupied Palestinian Jerusalem. I was shocked, but that just gives you some idea as to what the Jerusalem consulate, the former Jerusalem consulate, was all about. I'd just like to close, with your permission, with this quote from Menachem Begin. This took place at the Shoreham Hotel in New York in 1980. There were 1,000 people jammed into a ballroom that could hold 600. And he told the people there, Jerusalem is the heart of our people, our history, our culture, our dreams and prayers. So it will be for all generations to come, so help us God. Begin added that without any qualification, the world should know, all nations should know that this issue, Jerusalem, is DC, David's capital. So with this, I would like to just close by saying that if anybody ever asks you, let them know there is just one Jerusalem. One Jerusalem. Thank you.
יישר כוח. תודה רבה. Thank you, Jeff Daube.